I have a joke for you. It's been a few weeks since we've had a joke, and I thought you might enjoy one this morning. It's actually an Easter joke. A friend was in front of me coming out of the church one day, and the preacher was standing at the door, as he always is, to shake hands. He grabbed my friend by the hand and pulled him aside. The pastor said, "You need to join the army of the Lord, my friend." And my friend said, "Well, Pastor, I'm already in the army of the Lord." And the pastor questioned, "Well, how is it that I do not see you except at Christmas and Easter?" And the friend whispered back, "I'm in the Secret Service." Today is the second Sunday of the Easter season. There will be 7 Sundays in the Easter season leading up to Pentecost on May 24th, which is 50 days after the first Sunday of Easter. And Ascension Day will be celebrated on the 40th day of the Easter season, on Thursday, May 14th this year. Perhaps if we all understood that there is more than one day of Easter and Christmas, more would be of this secret service that we've talked about might be in church for more than 2 days a year. We can always hope. All of that aside, it is good to see everyone today. I know you had a choice whether to attend this morning, and you have decided to be here, and I am thankful for your coming. "As the Lord has sent me, so I send you," says Jesus in verse 21. And with these words, Jesus gives the Holy Spirit to his disciples, the ones he is sending out into the world. And he does so by a strange procedure, by breathing on them. As God breathed life into Adam and into Eve to give them life, as Elijah breathed life into a small boy to bring him back to life, Jesus gives his breath to us to give us life. The disciples are commissioned. They are not left alone in their task that Jesus has assigned them. They are given the Holy Spirit to be with them in the task, to always be with them. We know how the Father sent the Son into the world. Rather, we know what the Father did not do when he sent the Son into the world. He did not send the Son into the world to condemn the world. He sent the Son into the world to save the world. And so, taking Jesus' words literally, we too are not to go into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world. Like the Father has sent me, I also send you. Is this not an interesting comparison that Jesus gives us in this Easter commission? The disciples are sent with the power to forgive and to reconcile. They may grant forgiveness or retain forgiveness, but holding it back does not imply condemning. In many cases, the forgiveness that is held back is an encouragement to forgive and to be forgiven. The disciples are sent to become an Easter community, not a judging community. Now, please note also that Jesus has greeted them with the words, "Peace be with you," twice. Rather than giving them an ecstatic rapture of joy, Jesus has given them a double blessing of peace. In his letter to the Philippians, Paul refers to a peace of God that passes all understanding. And it's this peace, I think, that Jesus offers us. A non-anxious presence in the life of our world. A world that is anxious and angry and envious and in so many points of stress this day. He offers this non-anxious presence of Christianity. This peace opens the doors to the room where they are located. Doors that they have locked in fear. Jesus opens with the greeting of peace. When we think of the Easter Commission, most of us would think of what we call the Great Commission at the end of the Gospel of Matthew. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, says Jesus. And here Jesus promises his disciples that he will be with them always. And lo, I will always be with you, he says. They will not be alone in their task and in their commission. Note that we are not asked to go out and make perfect people of all nations, but we are asked to make students, to make learners of all nations. Disciples are people on the learning journey at various points along that journey of understanding what Jesus wants us to do and applying it in our lives. And as students, we sometimes fail, perhaps as much as we succeed. But we keep trying, and we keep learning, and we keep pushing the outside of the envelope in terms of developing our mind and our hearts together. As students, we seek a spiritual strength. We build up our spiritual muscles to cope with things like depression and sorrow and anger and betrayal. But what is this spiritual strength, and can we actually define it? I don't think I could come up with the exact words, but I can outline some of the patterns that reflect spiritual strength. For instance, the ability to find meaning in life, the ability to grow from adversity, the ability to persevere through pain, the ability to maintain optimism when all around you are pessimistic, to accept the reality of a situation and cope with that reality, to have a moral conscience based on empathy and compassion for others, the ability to recognize what is good in a situation and what is bad, what is just and what is unjust. And do we ever achieve perfection in any of these values? No. But this is a broad outline of the pattern we are asked to follow as disciples of Jesus. So you see, baptism is a starting point and not a finishing point. And so is being a disciple. We are constantly trying to be new in our vision of life and our learning ability. We should never get discouraged that we have failed, only that we have another opportunity to succeed. When we commission missionaries to be our representatives to a foreign land, such as we did with Jessica, Avery, and Ashton a few years ago, we sent them forth with a charge, a commission, a consecration, and our support in prayer and money. The words we used in that commission were, "You are today being commissioned for a very important service. We offer you our blessing as you go forth as our ambassadors, our representatives in a foreign land. And you will carry with you the goodwill of this congregation and the prayers and the blessings of this congregation as you embark on that special mission." As Paul and his companions went forth out of Antioch with the blessings of that church, even so today, a missionary goes out with a vision and a personal consecration to the task of evangelism. The word commission actually comes from a Latin word meaning to bring together in trust. And somehow we bring each other together from different parts of the world in trust to learn from each other. In this sense, Jesus is acting on his desire that we should be one people. All meaning his disciples, but not only his disciples, not only those 11 on that first Easter morning, but all the people that will be brought to Christ as a result of their work. Every person who comes to Christ is a part of the oneness that Jesus envisions. When Paul uses the Greek word that we translate commission, he adds a sense of family or household to that meaning. A commission not only brings us together in trust, but in the type of trust that is represented in a family or a household. Once we bring someone to the faith, they are no longer strangers. They are part of our own family. Now, I realize that not all families have an atmosphere of trust and safety, so I should qualify my statement by saying that I'm trying to be accurate to the gospel now, and this is what the gospel wants us to do. But it is a daily challenge for each of us to keep an environment of trust and safety in our homes, and we are definitely not all perfect in doing this. Nevertheless, it is the desire of Jesus that families of faith should have an environment of trust and safety, that those families should be surrounded by love. And in turn, they become a building block for extending trust beyond the family to our community and to our state and to our nation, to the world. There are so many different forces working against us as we try to promote our families. But we should never give up on trying to bring goodness to our family environment. You see, our commission depends upon it. We have to start at the family level if we're going to make it to the nation level. Jesus tells us and promises us that he will be with us in this task, and he gives us the Holy Spirit also as we struggle toward our goals. A powerful spirit of strength. Both of these, the Holy Spirit and Jesus, will be as close to us as our own breath, as close as a whispered prayer away, as close as the words Abba for Daddy. There's a simple little Easter carol that has been around us for some time. It's called Now the Green Blade Rises. It sounds like a Christmas carol, only it's sung at Easter time. And here are some of the words. Everywhere I walk, I see greenery. Green shoots on the forest floor and green buds on the trees. I can even hear the grass grow. The growing grass pushes up the old dead leaves on the floor of the forest. And at night, when it is quieter, I can hear that grass growing. My spirit also rises up. I feel the well of the living water rising within me. And like those first disciples, I too am experiencing some disorientation in the days of my new life. Yet love has come again like wheat arising green. And this is a miracle to all who partake of it. A Catholic sister named Helen Pregine once wrote, I pay attention to what I do so I know what I believe. And so much of the time it's true that we find out what we believe in doing what we think is important, doing the service that we think will make a difference in the world, and then learning what we believe from that experience. I find myself, though, wondering if the life that I bear witness to is a life of resurrection, or is it a life of crucifixion? Do I get stuck somewhere between the two, disoriented as the song goes? If I am honest, there is still plenty to fear in this world, plenty of anxiety to go around, and disunity and selfishness. And yet God offers us the hope that we can be one. An Easter people developing strength, developing unity, developing trust and non-anxiety. These are signs of the Easter courage, the peace, the unity, the generosity, the forgiveness that we should develop within our breast. The words of the prophet tell us that this Easter infects us as the virus infects us sometimes. This Easter infects us with a reality that is greater than ourselves. And as we are infected with this precious treasure of love, we can share it with others through our Easter faith. Amen.